Originally released back in 2011, Dark Souls quickly enraptured an entire generation of gamers, spawning a hit trilogy in practically its own genre. Rather than simply being action RPGs, similar titles were henceforth referred to as being Souls-like, and the Soulsborne genre, which included spiritual predecessor Demon Souls as well as Bloodborne, has become the series of choice for many a gamer seeking something a little more challenging than the average game. With all of the marketing for the series being focused on the extreme difficulty and hardcore prepare to die mentality, the Souls games aren't actually all that hard. Sure, there's an incredibly steep learning curve to overcome, an esoteric level design, quest lines and gameplay mechanics to come to grips with, but the Souls titles have always been fair and rewarding to those willing to invest the time and patience necessary, and this is a key element as to why the franchise has captured the hearts and minds of so many. So with such an ardent following behind it and the other two titles already available upon current gen systems, porting the original Dark Souls across to PS4 and Xbox One was pretty much a license to print money. And with the series pronounced done and dusted, QLOC and Bandai Namco have capitalised on the lull between Souls-like games and given fans the original and arguably the best of the Soul games, complete with new multiplayer mechanics, lighting and most importantly 60 FPS. There's not really much that I can say that you wouldn't have heard over the last 7 years as the game became firmly cemented as gaming institutions. Suffice to say, all of the effusive praise is well deserved, and the sublime combat, abstruse storyline and interconnected level design are all present and accounted for here. Practically unchanged, save the addition of new bonfire, the option to switch between Covenant bonfires, the ability to assign different buttons for movement and a few other minor tweaks. But the main focus of this review isn't to be retrospective of this classic game, but rather upon the quality of the remastering work by QLOC. Most fans were worried that the new lighting engine would alter the gloomy atmosphere of the visuals, and the final result is disappointingly a bit of a mixed bag. Certain areas benefit noticeably while others look muddy or dull, such as parts of the Darkroot Basin, but the biggest issue I noticed was that the shadow of enemies would be baked into the geometry of visibly the floor. Despite none of the creatures being near the area just before they confront the gaping dragon, there are basilisk shadows lighting the wall, and other areas feature similar graphical glitches. Besides the lighting, there really hasn't been that much that I can see that has been updated in the visual department, apart from a few textures and character models. I know there was a fool's errand hoping for a complete rebuild of the game, a la Shadows of the Colossus or Insane Trilogy, but it pains me to say a lot of aspects of the remaster just scream quick cash grab. Perhaps the worst offence is practically every single bug that was present in the 2011 release still remains present here. Remembering when, after slaying the undead dragon in the painted world of Aramis, its corpse would sometimes block the shortcut and require a leaping attack to make the creature model comically leap to its feet, allowing you to run beneath it? Yes, well, that is still a thing here. That's only one example, but things that could and should have been fixed here have been inexplicably passed over, including much needed refinement on the PvP gameplay, such as removing chain backstabbing and phantom strikes. It seems that QLOC were content to just churn out the remaster with as minimal effort as possible, and unfortunately it does show. Luckily, the strength of the game itself helped mitigate the lackluster remastering result, but when the myriad flaws of the game have been picked apart and dissected for over half a decade now, you think that Bandai Namco would chuck us a bone or two. Instead, one of the main selling points behind Dark Souls Remastered is the prospect of repopulated servers, with fans both old and new engaged in some jolly cooperation or some PvP action in the halls of Orlando. With a maximum of 6 players now able to gank each other to their heart's content, dedicated servers and the very welcome addition to the password system, this is quite easily the best Dark Souls has ever been online on console. So, final thoughts. Dark Souls Remastered is still essentially Dark Souls, just slightly better looking with better online functionality. This is a bit of a double-edged sword, as the bugs and various exploits and other issues that were present in the original release are still evident here. And aside from the unwieldily nice engine and touches to online, one can't help but feel that QLOC took the path of least resistance here. and banged out the remastered without any real consideration as to how they can improve upon the core experience. It's a good thing for them then that the core experience is retained in all of its glory, and being able to own this delightful slice of gaming goodness on PS4 along with Scholar of the First Sin and Dark Souls 3 is reason enough for me to recommend picking up Dark Souls Remastered Prepare to Die. Get good and all those other hyperbolic taglines, just pick it up and let yourself get lost in the world of Lordran. Overall, I recommend everyone pick up this remastering of a classic that captured many of our hearts, even if it did destroy a few of our souls. And overall, I'll rate Dark Souls Remastered a beautiful 8.5 out of 10. So what do you gamers think? Do you love Dark Souls Remastered? What platform do you play on now? Why don't you let us know in the comment below? And if you're new to the channel and enjoyed the review, then why don't you click on the subscribe button, hit that bell icon to receive updates every time we do a review. And until next time gamers, take care. I'll see you soon.